be a real treat. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 94. Of course, we're in Legion now, and we're doing Legion-type things, and all of the news that we have to talk about is Legion-type news. But before we get into all of that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, we are all prepared for Legion now. We are all 110, or getting close to it. I'm 110 on my Demon Hunter. I went with that first.
Oh!
So yeah, we can get into a sewer more, but I just figured that just the Demon Hunter going back and trying to save the city where she's from that's overrun by demons, it made sense for her to be on the Demon Hunter, so I'm going with that.
Oh my gosh,
first.
you went with Demon Hunter. I can't believe it. Like, I can believe it, but I'm excited about it, right? Like, that's amazing. So I'm super excited. I am also 110. I hit 110 a couple days ago because I was in Washington for PAX, and I had the world's worst internet. It was so bad, so I couldn't play it all on my laptop while I was there. And I hit 110, and I have been playing a very completionist mindset in Legion, which has come to bite me right in the butt.
Yeah, your quest log is all overflowing.
Okay, so my quest log out of control. We're working on getting I've gotten it a lot. I've gotten it dealt with a lot because I got caught up on my class quest. I got caught up on my order hall quest. Then I went and finished the area I was in, which was Stormheim. Went to Ajuna. Now, mind you, I am 110 and have not even stepped foot in Ajuna, which is awful because now I'm gated.
Ajuna is awesome.
It's an amazing place, right? So I have one more, for the achievement. I've been doing all the side quests and everything, and I have one more for the main achievement, and then whatever side quests I come across, I'll do as well. Right. But I've been friendly for a while, and I told myself, I'm going to go to Suramar so I can get the Suramar rep as soon as I hit friendly. I didn't do that. I can't bring myself with how, cluttered my quest log gets. I'd rather just do them all at once and be a couple days behind everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, getting to friendly with Suramar isn't too bad, which we'll get into. Just unlocking the quest and unlocking the basics really just takes you to friendly for the world quest, and then you can do it at your own pace from there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad, and I should do that as soon when the show ends. I have a little bit more to film. I have a little bit more to film for my channel because I leave, like I said, on very early. Oh, thank you so much. We've gotten a couple subs already, so thank you so much. We have one person who is now subscribed to us for 13 straight months, Perk.
Oh, it's
nuts.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And then we just got a new subscriber as well, so thank you so much, guys.
Hey.
Subscribers get to use our little Pepe and Perk and Panzer emotes. So if you hear anything...
Rocket.
Yeah, if you hear anything in chat that you're excited about, you can use Perk's happy face, and if you hear anything that you're mad about, you can use Panzer's rage face. Anyways, so I'm just trying to get caught up, but with the way that quests are, and there's that hard cap of 25. To me, it feels like it's easier to try to finish a zone and not have any
I would agree.
remnant quests, because I just felt like no matter whatever quest I ended up dropping, I would not be able to find again.
Right, because they're all side quests in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and so I'm a little bit behind my guild between packs and then choosing to level in this way. But because I'm leaving on Tuesday anyways, I don't feel like in the grand scheme of things, did this really put me that much farther behind? Probably not.
Yep.
So I'm really enjoying it a lot, though. I'm excited to finish up Azuna and get to Suramar. I know you said Suramar is really good.
Suramar is so much fun. There's just so many little details, there's gondolas that you can go around, there's graffiti that the Nightborn leave, that enchanted broom scrub off the walls, there's all sorts of little details. You can talk to the vendors in Suramar, and they sell you special food and stuffed animals, even by the zoo. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. I did get a quest to go there, so I went there and did that quest, and then I think it gave me the quest for where you had to get all the crafted gear, and then it tells you to get friendly with everybody. So I have those two. I got all the crafted gear done. I've been trying to keep up on my professions, although I haven't started the fishing artifact yet, because I'm so far behind.
That's a lot of fun. I want to start that as well.
I want to do it so bad. I want to do it. I have to have it. It's really important. It's really important. But I've been having a blast with all, there's so many things, I feel like I don't want to, leave no quest behind, because you never know what quest has a freaking pet this expansion.
I know.
Oh my
There's
God.
so many.
It's the best.
I think every zone has one from a quest, and then of course there are the rep ones. But
and the rares,
Balshara, there's a bear cub that you can get. In Suramar, there's some sort of kitten at some point.
Yeah, he's a little dead spectral kitten guy.
Yep.
There's the puppy that you can get from the burning building. Did you get that one? Yep. It's from a treasure.
Yep. Oh. Yep, in Valshara. I think his name is like Grumpy, and it's Grumpy. Like, oh, like, you know, he saved you is the flavor text.
So good. Yeah. So good. That, you know what that reminded me of is that quest. I bring this quest up all the time because it's like my most memorable quest in WoW. Do you have one of those? Do you have a quest that like just always stands out to you?
I think I have some zones that stand out. But so yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar, like a storyline that means a lot to me that I keep thinking about.
Okay, so this is not a storyline that means a lot to me, but when I was really getting into WoW, this was again my first character. I wasn't even max level yet. I did a quest in, it's where Gruul's lair is, with all the spiky area. Do you know what I'm talking about? Blade's Edge Mountains?
Blade's Edge, yeah.
So there's a quest there where there's a blood elf who gets herself captured by ogres, and you have to go like save her. And when you go and save her from these ogres, the whole time she is like smack talking you, like you have highly inconvenienced her. So every time you stop to kill something that's attacking her, she turns around and she's like,
that's really funny.
Hurry
that reminds
up.
me of that. That
You'll
reminds
never
me of like the High Mountain series where there's a grandmother, and if you go fast without her, she gets upset if
she's like, my bones are so old.
Yeah, or she's like, show some respect, and she's just awesome how she has to have that huge hearing.
And then the next person in that quest chain is like, why are you going so slow? Hurry up. So good. But I say that all the time. I'll be like, you'll never stop me from getting to Falcon Watch, and people are like, what reference are you making? The best worst WoW quest of all time, obviously. But yeah, so we've obviously really been enjoying what Legion really has to offer for us. And I did a video yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, just kind of talking about
I didn't get to see it. I've been busy just writing stuff
really
to do at 110
it's long-winded.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
It's long-winded, but I just kind of talked about the difference between Legion and other expansions and why I think this is being so well received. And if for no other reason, I think that Legion has really reinvigorated the feeling that the game starts at max level. Like, the goal isn't to get max level and then jump right in to do something. Like, you get max level and then there's all these quests still and all these reps still, and your professions have quests, and you still have so much to do and so much to work for. It's not just like, oh, I'm max level, I'm raiding now.
Right. I also prefer the world quest format over the daily quest format. Because
I haven't unlocked them yet.
While there's a lot to do, it feels more paced out. Like, you can't just binge and get too exalted with everything in one day, and you can't just do your 50 garrison missions and build a bunch of buildings. Like, it feels like there's a lot to do, but there's stuff to look forward to. You can't just, work really hard and get it all done in one day and then have nothing to do, which I think is better for the game.
They've gated a lot of things I think was a good idea. Like, as mad as I was, like, so I didn't realize that world quests were gated behind that friendly rep, which is so silly.
It's really not a big deal, like,
unless you're me and you have to finish every effing zone before you move on, and then like, here I am.
Yeah, but you don't need to, you don't need to finish a Zuna, right?
You don't need to, I do. But I thought it was so funny because I had this very, like, completionist attitude going in and picking up every treasure and every herb and doing all the battle pets and, like, literally everything every zone has to offer, I want to do it. And then I get to 110 and I'm like, yes, and now I get to do world quests. Wait, no, I don't.
Very soon.
Very soon. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm almost done with Azuna. I've been friendly. I'm like halfway through Honored at this point. But I wanted to get it all done. It feels good when you finish something.
Yeah. So we should circle back to our opinions as we cover the topics. We should get into
absolutely. Thank you so much for that subscription, Matthew.
Awesome.
Thank you. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Legion Q&A.
Yeah. So Blizzard published a press release, and it stated that over 3.3 million copies of Legion were sold through a launch day, which was August 30th, and that matches the launch day record. Yeah. So this the announcement was worded a little bit differently than past announcements. As you might remember from Warlords, they talked about the active subscribers and it being over 10 million, but they've taken a different data angle with this one. Yeah. And it was, just reading a little bit about the press release, it was with Azeroth on the brink of destruction, heroes from around the world were summoned to drive back the burning Legion's armies last week with the launch of World of Warcraft Legion, the 6th expansion to Blizzard Entertainment's acclaimed massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Yep. Today, Blizzard announced that players have forged a truly formidable defensive front as of the expansion's first full-day launch on August 30th. more than 3.3 million copies of Legion had sold through, matching the all-time record achieved by previous expansions and making it one of the fastest-selling PC games ever.
Yep.
In addition, World of Warcraft's launch week player concurrency climbed to its highest point since the 2010 launch of the Cataclysm expansion.
Woo! I think that is okay. So that they put that at the very end, right? But I actually think that piece of data means a lot more than the 3.3 million pre-orders and day one sales.
Right.
And that's because that means that people are on and playing. Like, lots of people pre-order the game, and lots of people...
I think a lot more before, because of that, you could get the Demon Hunter through pre-order, so there was a very clear incentive to pre-order Legion as opposed to, other expansions.
Yes, I totally agree. So I was really excited to hear that, because if you're talking about, like, something like Cataclysm, which 2 months before Cataclysm came out, it would have been, like, what was that, like October 2010. That's what I was thinking, 2010, and then I was like, that seems like too long ago, but no. So like in October 2010, that would have been around 11 million subscribers. That was like peak numbers, because World of Warcraft hit its highest number of subscribers ever, like mid to late Wrath of the Lich King. So just before Cataclysm came out, we were looking at a subscriber base of around 10 million, 11 million, and that's nuts. That's nuts that we're seeing. I mean, obviously, subscriber base and concurrent players are not the same thing. A subscriber is anybody who has played in the last month, has an active subscription. Depends on the region that you live in on how your subscription is counted, but it doesn't really mean that you're playing per se. Concurrent players means literally how many people are on a server.
Exactly. Another thing that I've seen, which is really interesting, is just monitoring the traffic to see like what's popular, what people are confused about, if people are hitting a page that has a bug, we should fix it, and looking at the numbers of past expansions with what we're seeing during launch week. A lot more people were actively playing in the middle of the week, and on the weekend they were waking up earlier in the day to log on and play.
My husband set an alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning on the weekends. He was getting up an hour and a half early for work so that he could play Legion before he went to work.
That's what we're seeing in the data. Like, usually we get this big weekend spike, but with Legion it was more like people just started, playing as soon as it was available, which I think was also due to the launch being really smooth. Like, you could actually play. The launch was so good.
Yes, it was. It was so good. Even with the crazy DDoS attacks, it was still never unplayable, at least in my experience. I'm sure there were people that experienced different things than I did.
It was much better overall for the general player base.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then they followed up this press conference with a Q&A, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because it didn't really drop a ton of new information, but I'm okay with that, and I think it's good for the community if the developers feel that they can just have these, chats back and forth that are, outside of, major patch announcement. It's nice that they can try to just talk and answer player concerns more regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, communication is a huge deal.
Yep.
As the folks at Niantic will tell you.
Yeah, so I mean, like I just said, this wasn't like a 7.1 Q&A, although they talked about some things, but it just tried to answer a lot of launch questions, and they want to do one coming up pretty soon. They don't have any dates yet, but they seem to like this Q&A format. So
yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah. So one of the topics that was kind of a hot topic was talking about warlocks, and they talked about how like lots of people have issues with warlocks currently, and
why? Warlocks have 3 viable specs right now. Is that the problem?
So one of the issues is that there's a lot of ramp up required for things like the outdoor world or PvP. Like, you do all the stuff to reach your full potential, and by the time you reach it, the mob is nearly dead, so that doesn't feel very good. And Blizzard is saying that because people gave like very good targeted feedback, they were able to address the issue. And something that is likely coming soon is that a hotfix which will change the default number of soul shards from 1 to 3 to help with that ramp up.
Oh.
So that's one thing that's coming, and they just used warlocks as an example that some other people had issues with like demonology or destruction warlock, and that some people were doing things like, spamming Twitch chat or making petitions or like, I'm going to re-roll, and just examples between constructive feedback and feedback that is difficult for the developers to sort through because they want to make more changes like the soul shards to help with ramping up.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've talked a lot about here is like it's okay to have feedback that isn't positive. It's not okay to just troll. Like you can leave negative feedback without being a hassle to everybody around you, because it's what you're doing in that case is you're clogging up whatever outlet you're kind of complaining on, and you're not complaining to the right people, and you're also doing it in a voice that doesn't make you sound very reasonable.
Yeah, they also talked a bit more about general balance. They are planning a set of class tweaks right before the raids open, so for example the end of next week, and they also say that their philosophy on hotfixes now is they'd like to communicate the notes in advance, and they'd like to do changes in a bundle instead of tweaking abilities one by one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe like once a week you'd see a huge bunch of updates versus like, oh, ability A got changed, the next day there's something else. Also saying that because balancing is an ongoing process because, people are finally hitting max levels, so they have all these legendary and artifact traits and talent combinations.
Legendary.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, like, there's just so many more people getting legendaries and combinations of things now than during the beta. So, you start, like, all of a sudden there's a synergy that pops up that maybe wasn't caught before that's too overpowered.
Yeah.
My head.
Headset down.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're just saying that there's a lot of variables in Legion and they're working through it, and then obviously they're going to get even more data with balancing when the actual, raids and Mythic Plus and rated PvP come out on the 20th. So, so maybe we'll get another thing when it's out.
And then they just, casually were like, oh, in the Tomb of Sargeras, no big deal. Sargeras. Sorry, guys. I say it wrong no matter what.
Yeah, so this sort of just, slipped in because, someone asked with this extended delay before the Nighthold raid, which is scheduled for early 2017. Nighthold is the first Legion raid that's going to have tier sets with bonuses, so can we expect to see more raids going forward without tier sets? And Ian said something along the lines of, for smaller raids like the Stormheim raid coming up and Emerald Nightmare, there doesn't necessarily need to be a tier set. And then he was like, oh, for Nighthold or the Tomb of Sargeras. Oh, he's like, I guess that's a spoiler, we're in Legion, guys. You're going to be going to the Tomb of Sargeras. These are epic story places. You'll be getting tier sets there.
Where is, my ridiculous gif of Ian Hazacostas? I need to have that, on deck, ready for the moments when he does this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just, a deal with it, with, the sunglasses that come down. It's got to exist. I'll find it, and I'll have it prepared for future use. Because, how do you just, they've only announced the 3 raids, and one of them was, a brand new announcement, and then they're just oh, casually, Tomb of Sargeras. Which, also, by the way, what do you think that raid is going to be like? Do you think, because we're obviously, that's where all the demon hunters are kept, correct?
No, I mean, that's where we went with Gul'dan. The Demon Hunters were in Vault of the Wardens that were then free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but didn't Gul'dan break Illidan? I'm sorry. This is me not understanding lore.
No, I mean, it's sort of, we went there for the pre-event expansion Broken Shore invasion, and we did battle there, so we are returning, and this was also the topic of the audio books with Khadgar.
Okay, I'm I know that. I'm just merging 2 places together as if they're one.
Anyway, it's a very important place.
It's an important place.
We didn't do very well there the first time.
So who are we at? We can't be fighting Sargeras. That's not right. That can't be a thing.
I mean, Gul'dan we fight in the Nighthold, and they said that was the end of him, so he's out of the picture.
Yeah, but it's got to be some sort of shade of Sargeras or echo of Sargeras.
Right.
It can't just be Sargeras. We can't kill him. If we do kill him, he's just gonna be Gul'dan 2.0. He runs away at the last moment with a comical laugh.
Right, but he already did that.
You'll never stop him from getting the Falcon Watch. Yeah, I don't know. That's okay, so they just said that was an upcoming raid. They didn't say that was the next raid, and I feel I hope this isn't another one of those situations where we're getting mixed signals from people, because they said in my interview, or maybe it was at the panel beforehand, I don't remember, all the information kind of merged together, but they said that they're kind of just making content as the expansion needs content.
I was thinking of that too, because pulling it up, I think in the panel live blog, they said something to the effect of, we really don't want to tell you guys, like, okay, there's, 3 rigid tiers, and, like, they don't want to just have such a rigid plan. Like, it seems they want to see how people are reacting and adjust things around it.
So then it wouldn't be the final raid then, you don't think? Because that seems like an important raid to not be the final raid.
It seems like it could be, but I don't know if they'll be like, oh, there are 4 raids in Legion, or there are 6 raids, or there are 2. Like, I don't think they're going to be that rigid or... Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, that is very exciting.
That's exciting.
In more mundane news, they also said that the auction house UI was a mess.
Yeah.
And this is
They're not wrong.
Yeah. Like, if you're doing profession quests, there are some quests that tell you to get a certain type of crafting reagent, and they're like, oh, if you're not a skinner, just get the skin on the, get the leather on the auction house. And you go to the auction house, and there are hundreds of, 1 piece of stonehide leather, and that's not really very fun. So they're talking about how it really does need a UI update, but they're hoping sooner than later they can do a stopgap measure of sorting items by default by unit price. So, for example, if you have a stack of 20 and, like, each piece on average would be cheaper than the guy putting up, 1 expensive price of leather, that 20 stack would show up at the front, and then that will cut down the bad behavior of people sticking all the 1 pieces up to get onto the front page.
See, like, I have odd feelings about this, right? Like, I'm really upset with myself for not asking about the add-on thing when I had my interview. I just, like, completely spaced. I'm really mad I didn't ask for more feedback on that. But, like, in my opinion, if an add-on is actually, like, necessary for something to function in in like an intuitive way, they should just work that add-on into the game. Like, Auctionator. Like, okay, so maybe they don't
they actually recommended, they're like, oh, we hate telling people use an add-on, but, like, right now Auctionator is good, and in the future we want to, work on the UI, but we have, limited resources, and they went into the appearance and transmog.
Well, like, even their solution there is like, oh, this one will show up at the top. Like, if you have something like Auctionator, you just go to the buy tab, and you type in whatever you want, and it, like, sorts it so nicely. It's like, this is how you can buy the cheapest one. This is how you can buy the lowest amount of stacks. Yeah. This is the thing that uses that as a crafting reagent. You know what I mean? Like, it's so well done. I hope that when they do revamp the UI,
I think the unit price, I mean, at least that's one step, and at least it will curb, your average player from just going on and being like, oh, well, I have to list things in this super annoying way because it's the only way they'll be on the front.
They need to add, in whether it's an add-on or in-game, and this is just for my own personal reasons, they need to add search for pets I don't have, and search for...
Yeah, the pet search is a little funny.
The pet search is terrible. I have like a shopping list through Auctionator that, like, you can scan all of your pets, and then it puts all the pets you don't have that are available in the auction house in a list, and then you can search that list in the auction house. But I own so many pets that so far not so good.
Yeah.
But
so on a happier note, people asked about more applications of Legion scaling, which I know is something you also asked about in your 7.1 interview, and they gave the example of holiday bosses, and Blizzard said they hadn't thought of that, but they think that's a really great application similar to the Spirit of Demon Invasions, and they want to look into that.
Yes,
so that's
I would
pretty
love
cool.
that. I would love that. Also, they talked about how some of the content in beta was disabled specifically so that people wouldn't find it, like the jellyfish mount and stuff.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. How they actively, they said that this was something that'd be really complex that you need a group working together to figure out. And on top of that, they didn't want that group to figure it out during the beta, so they put this extra layer of mystery and only tested it internally.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few more topics in the interview. As usual, we do a summary of it, and if you want to hear the full tone and wording, check out the VOD, which we also have embedded in our live blog.
Yep.
So,
okay, so you guys want to watch a cinematic? This is the new...
mini data mining thing from yesterday.
Yeah, so all right, we'll watch this, and then spoilers. I have no means of putting up a spoiler tag because it's visual and audio. So just, like, close your eyes and earmuffs for like a minute and a half if you don't want to know. Please. Take 2. So this cinematic tilts me. This cinematic... How dare anybody go up to Illidan and be like, you don't understand sacrifice?
Yeah.
Well, what? That doesn't even make sense.
I think this is in his head.
It's in his head?
Yeah, I think so. What we just saw was a cinematic that shows the final memories of Illidan after the Black Temple, and this cinematic takes place after a long quest line, most of which is not completable right now on live, but was on beta, where you go through Illidan's life through his point of view. So, for example, the War of the Ancients, and then the raid fighting you as Illidan in the Black Temple. And so yeah, this is the very final part where he looks back on his life and how, Cenarius rejected him for druid training, and, his brother, and he's hearing the voices of the mages he sacrificed during War of the Ancients, and how Turon didn't choose him, and he's just sort of being tormented by his doubts and feeling like he failed in the last moments of his life. So, I think that's the context for what we're seeing here. Yeah.
I don't know. I get really upset at this whole situation because Malfurion's a jerk. I don't care what. I literally do not care what Illidan did. You do not date your brother's girlfriend, wife, elf lady. You don't do that. It literally does not matter. That's just a terrible thing to do. No loyalty.
Well, I think that she didn't. I think she rejected Illidan as well because he was too hot-headed.
But weren't they together at one point?
No, they weren't really.
They were too. I'm pretty sure they were together. In the beginning of the book, it definitely implies that they were together. Maybe not. Did he just always want his brother's girl?
I think that was more like it.
'Cause I want me some of Malfi's girl. I don't know. I feel bad for Illidan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Legion is trying to make you feel sympathetic towards Illidan after we were killing him in the Black Temple. And
I do, but I also, I'm so torn, right? Because, I definitely thought at one point they were together, and, clearly they weren't, which makes him kind of a weirdo who is, I don't know, I'm so torn. What is Illidan's deal, man? Is he I don't know. He definitely is trying to be a good dude, but he makes weird
they're
choices.
Definitely trying to make him into this savior, larger part of the universe figure, with this quest being he's the child of light and shadow, and he's in the balance, and we need Illidan, and the quest chain is actually kind of interesting. We have it linked in the article, the full quest chain, but his actions make there's a lot of context for his actions that are not Illidan is evil, he was, sacrificing people and turning into a demon. He's definitely not perfect, but it is trying to make you understand him a bit more. I sort of hope they don't go too heavy-handed on it and turn Illidan into a next Thrall savior figure. Do a complete 180 and be oh no, he's the best guy ever, because he's not. But yeah, that was the cinematic, and right now only the very first quest is available on live servers, which is called Awakenings, and that's sort of the birth of Illidan and him trying to do some druid training.
To do druid things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never claimed to be someone who knew a whole lot about the lore, but Illidan is a very complex dude who I don't fully understand.
He was very complex, and then
because he also seems
sort of this twist in
intensely creepy now. I always thought they were kind of together, and in hearing that they weren't kind of together, that's a lot of weird things to do for a girl that you are not actually with. That's too much. And then what did he do? Go and run home and be Tyrande only likes jerks. No, Illidan, you're coming on way too strong, bro.
Yep.
Give her a little space.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about all this. I've mixed feelings about Illidan, but he definitely made sacrifices.
Right. I think he's just hearing the echoes of everyone angry with him for controversial decisions in his past. So, it's not actually Cenarius yelling at him, it's the memory of him being rejected by Cenarius when he wanted to.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense for sure. I was how could they say he didn't sacrifice anything? Anyways, we're up to date.
Yeah, it's an hour-long quest line, so if you want to see this with the full emotional impact, you can do the quest line, or just if you don't want to be spoiled, don't, just wait to do it in game, and you'll get there eventually.
You'll get there eventually. Now, okay, so this is kind of cool too, and I had talked about this in my interview, and we talked about this a little earlier, but there's lots of secret stuff in Legion, and Blizzard is kind of priding themselves on all these little secret things that people are finding, and tons of people have been working together to find both the jellyfish mount from Kazmuoth the Hungering, as well as the Reigns of the Long Forgotten Hippogriff, which data has been in game since like 2012, like such a long
27. Time. Like it's been years.
That's I did not realize it had been there since 2000. That's crazy.
It's super old.
But so they found it. Like there's this like I said, there's this huge group of players that are all kind of working together, and they were as a team. They came together and put their brain powers together, and in trying to find one thing, they ended up finding another
thing.
Which
is really funny. Like they're trying to find this pink hippogriff, and instead they summoned this old god sea monster that drops a jellyfish mount. So not what they were looking for.
I've got too many videos loaded in, and it's like kind of dying on me a little bit. We're working on it. Let's see. Come back. I had videos of these mounts for you guys, but I have like so many videos loaded that it can't. I'll have to remember this in the future. This is too many videos.
Okay. Yeah, the awesomeness of the mounts is destroying the camera.
I'll figure it out. You just keep talking.
All right. But yeah, so it was funny how they were trying to find a hippogriff, and then they found this old god, and then they went back to it. They formed a secret hidden item Discord, and then they found the Reigns of a Long Forgotten Hippogriff, and they're still ironing out some details on that right now. But for Kazumuoth, you have to click these orbs hidden around like super hidden caves, and then you get yourself attuned to a world quest for the mount or the pet. And the funny thing is that Kazumuoth is spawning every 5 minutes for everyone on every server, so like everyone was like, oh my god, like I'll just go kill him. So that was kind of funny to have people going to the middle of Ivashara nowhere. And then for the Long Forgotten Hippogriff, there are these crystals around Azuna, and you have to click on 5 of them, and on the 5th one you get the mount. And the crystals, there's more than 5 spawns in Azuna, and they're still discovering where they are and also figuring out the phasing behavior, because people have seen them on some realms but not others. And it's just a really awesome experience. People are being really helpful and leaving lots of images and detailed information in the Wowhead comments. Definitely check those out. That community is doing a ton of work finding all these cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, what are they down to, like only 4 artifacts they haven't found?
Yeah,
that they know of.
Some changed during the beta, so like some that we thought were good maybe are now not so good.
Oh, snap.
But yeah, like Corrupted Ashbringer and then the Rogue Thunder Furies, those are all things. So, yeah.
Wow. Next we have the Legion Companion app, which came out on Tuesday, and I've got a video for it. Let's watch.
Okay.
Welcome to the World of Warcraft feature overview for the Legion Companion app, which is now available for your mobile device. In this video, we'll go over how the Legion Companion app will help you keep up with your character's order hall and world quests, even if you're not at your computer. You can use the app to manage several features of your order hall. Tapping the research icon at the bottom right will allow you to upgrade your order hall or change upgrades you've previously selected. The Followers section allows you to look through the champions you've recruited to your cause and manage their equipment. You can also train new troops to send on missions in the Recruit section of the app. When you tap the Missions icon, you'll be presented with a list of all the missions your character currently has available. Selecting a mission will allow you to see more details on the rewards you can earn for completing it, assign champions or troops to it, and when you're ready, start it. You can check up on missions while they're in progress, and when they're done, you can complete them right from the app. The next time you log into World of Warcraft, all of the rewards you've earned will be waiting in your character's inventory. Once you've reached level 110 in Legion, you'll be given a quest to unlock world quests. These are a new type of dynamic outdoor quest content, which you can browse in-game by opening your map. When you open the Legion Companion app, you'll see a similar map of the Broken Isles. If your character has unlocked world quests, you'll be able to zoom in on this map to see all of the world quests that are currently available. You can tap on a quest to see its rewards, or tap the options icon in the upper left to filter what kind of world quests you'd like to see. You'll still need to log into World of Warcraft to do those quests, but this will allow you to keep track of what's active. The Legion Companion app is available for both iOS and Android devices. You can download it now from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the Broken Isles.
So yeah, that is the WoW Companion app, which it's
a very unexpected cool thing.
It's really cool, right? But then I don't know if it's because I haven't unlocked World Quest at this point. Like it is, it would have been so much more necessary for garrisons than it is for
World Quests. I don't feel are the meat and potatoes of the app because you can actually do them.
Yeah,
and if you're in game, using the app logs you out of game. So I feel like this is just for like missions and order advancements and all sorts of order resourcey things, which, is obviously less of a big deal now than it would have been for garrisons and Draenor. So, the app is free, iOS, Android. You can manage the order advancement system from the app, and, like if you're out traveling, this is something you just want to keep. You want to make sure it's always in progress because you have to do it for something like 43 days, and then you can equip 2 legendaries at once. So, if you're out traveling or not by your computer and your order finishes, you want to get on the next step of training that right away.
Yeah.
There's also, as I mentioned, champion equipment in the troops. You can send them out on missions. And if you finish the quest Uniting the Isles, which you have not done yet, then you can see which world quests are up for your character, but you can't actually do any of them. So it's a pretty slick app. They talked a little bit about the app on the Q&A. Specifically, people are asking why it's a separate thing from the Armory. And I think they wanted to see how the launch of this would go first and maybe see about merging them together later on in the future.
Yeah.
So
I think they should be merged. I was surprised at when I first opened it, not how little you could do per se, but like, you're only doing 1 or 2 missions at a time, so it's certainly not the kind of thing that you're actively doing anything on. I think that a really cool integration could be things like the mini games that are in the order halls right now. Also,
but that would involve, you mean like your character combat? Because I don't think they could do that.
No, okay, so they have the lights out in the shaman order hall.
Yeah, I feel like every class is different. Like shaman have lights out, but for other classes like demon hunters, it's via one of the order advancement things, and you click a crystal and then you kill a special demon, and then you can get an artifact appearance and other stuff from that.
It just might be cool. Well, the shaman one doesn't give you all that.
Battle Pet, though. Battle Pet.
I'm not even saying for reward purposes. It's just one of those things where most of the time if I'm using my phone and just messing around or whatever, I'll have some sort of stupid game that rewards me nothing on, if I'm in the car, not when I'm driving, but if I'm riding in a car or on a plane or something, and if Blizzard had some of their little in-game mini game things as part of this app, it would just be something where I'd leave the app open more often is all.
Yeah,
it's not really gameplay related. It's just something I would.
They seem to be open to having more things. I think they just wanted to make sure that this launch went really smoothly and that they'd do more in the future.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
So another thing that was revealed at PAX West was some more patch 7.1 information, which then you had a follow up with an interview with even more details.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about some of this because you would interview?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously heard at PAX they announced more about Kara with the Alice in Wonderland themed encounter. There's an upside down part. There's a new version of chess. There are new plays in the Opera House. They kind of made it sound like it was going to be this giant miniature raid, almost miniature in the sense
with
that it would
9
be
bosses.
5 people, 9 bosses, and to be on a weekly lockout, they don't expect people to do it all in one shot. We also found out that there will be some sort of attunement process to do the new Kara. You'll have to do a quest line in order to unlock the entrance, which is a separate entrance because you can still do regular Kara. There's also, as of right now, there's not a mount on the loot table, but they seemed like that could change. That loot is that kind of stuff is the very last thing that they'll put in. So who knows?
This was super cool. So they showed a little content trailer, and it looks like one of the opera encounters might be Beauty and the Beast because there's a human in the yellow gown, and there's a Worgen male, and there's like a rose suspended. It looks very Beauty and the Beast. And then this other mystery one has pirates and Murlocs fighting each other. So we'll see what they could be.
Perfect.
Yep.
They also talked a little bit about the new raid Trial of Valor, which actually is a mini raid because it's only got 3 bosses.
Yep.
There won't be any sort of attunement for Trial of Valor, and it doesn't sound like there's going to be a mount drop or anything, but there will be a mount that you get from doing all of the Suramar content.
Yeah. One more thing about Trial of Valor quick. They said that, I mean, it's still very early, but they think that Trial of Valor will be a good place to go for awesome trinkets.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they did specifically talk about trinkets being the thing you would go there for.
And also the story, they keep saying it's going to wrap up Stormheim. So, you know, in Halls of Valor, you prove yourself against Odin, and then he's like, okay, like, you're done, you proved yourself, but you're going to prove yourself against him again, and then you're going to fight Grarn, the dog from Helheim, and then you're going to fight Helya, who is, you know, you have to escape from the underworld while questing in Stormheim. So that's going to be the mini raid, just 3 bosses. And then, yeah, like you were saying, Suramar will have a new campaign and a mount, and I love Suramar. It's very different for Blizzard. It's very subtle. Like, you have this culture that's, like, very elitist, and, you know, they very, very cultured, very elitist. They actually take pride in their military, but they've seal themselves off, so they don't actually fight. They're just sort of, you know, very aesthetically pleasing. You know, they're not like the Pandaren who are all peaceful or trying to be peaceful. They, you know, they're very snooty and sort of putting each other down and making each other not feel welcome, while also being very fiercely proud of their city. So it's very interesting to explore, and it encourages exploration. Like, I've mentioned the gondolas before, but you can take different gondolas around the city, and if you aggro a mob, you can just jump in the gondola, and the gondola speeds you away, and they all have different paths, and there are some areas that you can only see while taking the gondola around, and that's just one example of all the little detail. Like, another thing is that there are totally different paintings throughout all of Suramar. Like, you won't find them anywhere else except for the Pepe painting.
Yeah.
But it's just
even
like,
though they took all the Pepes out of Suramar.
Yeah, like Suramar has a zoo. It has a menagerie
but
that
no
used
Pepes.
to have Pepes. Nope, no Pepes.
So
no
dumb.
Pepes. But there's a zoo, and like you can read information about all the different species in the zoo. And in the zoo, they even have stuff like, oh, you know, like other parts of Suramar could have gotten barren, you know, after the Sundering, but here we're perfectly climate controlled, and this lion can be happy, or, you know, penguins can be vicious, like we've mind controlled them into submission. They just have really funny sayings on all of them, so I'm very excited for more Suramar.
Yeah, and that campaign's super long. It's like 9 weeks long, and then like we talked about, it's going to reward some sort of mount that's going to be very themed to the area with runes and magic and stuff like that, and hopefully we'll find out more about scaling soon, because they definitely hinted that more scaling is on the way.
Yeah, like they told you that specifically. I think they were saying stuff like, oh, we don't want, like, this will be something that people will be very excited about. But they talked about some questions they're going through, such as, if we say scaling, does that mean Outlands goes up to 70, or just, you know, Northrend, like, what's the highest cap? Like, if you're in, you know, if you're in Elwyn, do you want to just be, you know, killing level 5 things and having an easy zone, or should everything be scaling? So
I think once you out level a zone naturally, so I don't think everything should just level up to your level. Like, I don't think the whole world should be 110, but I like the idea of like an area being capable of 1 to 20.
Right.
And then like 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40, as opposed to like those little 2 level gaps, which is more of what you get now.
Yeah.
And then once you out-level it, it shouldn't matter anymore. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. But that's sort of all we basically have about 7.1.
I do have a little trailer, too, if you guys want to watch it.
Okay, yeah, why don't we watch it? It's really cool.
And put it right here.
Yeah.
Good, it's working.
The Master has been gone for so very long. Preparations must be made.
so good. It looks so good.
I know, the chest was very cool.
And it looks
the spinny
so
chest.
I was thinking when I was watching that the first time through, do you think that the upside down thing had anything to do with their like really stubborn approach to camera stuff?
No, I always heard upside down in the context how Karazhan had a basement and a development area where there was a hall of upside down sinners, and it was like evil Kara that balanced out the top of the tower. So I thought upside down was going to be something about that.
I don't think it's a metaphor. I mean, they show in the trailer people are literally upside down.
Right. I mean, like I think maybe it's related. Like you go to that evil version of Kara, and then everything's flipped around.
Yeah.
We'll see, though.
I am definitely on team we're standing on the ceiling. We'll see what happens. So what's going on with the Darkmoon Fair?
All right, so that actually that started last Saturday, and if you're watching the show, it ends middle of the night Saturday. But there's some new things you can buy. There are new Rank 2 and Rank 3 Darkmoon card recipes. There is a Sparkle Pony toy that you can buy from July. It makes your mount do fireworks while jumping. And there's also a Scarlet Crusade NPC. And if you have the existing tabard on from Scarlet Halls, you can get you can buy transmog sets on your mail and plate wearers, as well as a special cropped tabard.
Yes, it is very cool. This was something we had talked very briefly about before Legion came out, when we were talking about the changing of transmog sets from mail to plate. So this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. We're calling back to the thing we talked about.
And the cropped tabard is cool as well. They're very expensive, but we know we have some Scarlet Crusade fans here. And yeah, the card recipes are pretty important. Like if you're gearing up for raids and you want a good trinket, you want scribes to have those higher rank recipes because that means they need less materials, which means things are cheaper and they can make things faster and stuff works better. Yeah,
I want to make things faster. How do you get the new Sparkle Pony XL toy?
It's just 150 tickets from Boomy Sparks, and it's just you have this toy and then you use it, and when you jump with your mount for 15 seconds, there's lots of fireworks. It's very sparkly.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, there's also a special World Quest event going on right now, correct?
Yeah, just in the rotation, the Kirin Tour is up for a few more days, and a lot of World Quests, you just sort of go one place, you kill 10 mobs, or, you kill the name mob, but the Kirin Tour, they're really different, and they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, both in what you have to do and in the rewards you can get. These quests send you on puzzles instead of those traditional world quests, and each puzzle can spawn in each type of outdoor zone, and they fall into roughly 3 categories. One is called Enigmatic, and a maze pattern will flash on the ground, and you need to trace the path several times. There is the Lay Race puzzle, where you jump on a mana saber, and you steer it through all of the blue magical patches until it reaches 100% mana before the time runs out. And the mount keeps speeding up as you go along, which is neat. And then there's the Magic of Flight puzzle, where you jump into a bubble and you have to keep moving as it floats through the air, and eventually it will drop you off at the right place. So those are the 3 fun puzzles. And then for rewards, the Emissary quest is also a bit different. You either get an insignia for 1500 reputation with any faction of your choice, or 750 with Nightfallen. But Nightfallen is still in high demand because, Nightfallen attunements. Plus, going back to the Darkmoon Fair, you've got the carousel with the buff, so for 10% reputation gains, so make sure you've got one of those Darkmoon Fair rep buffs on as you're doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And so the best part of this is that the Kirin Tour Emissary chest can contain the strange humming crystal, which is an item that starts the quest Enemies Everywhere for the wondrous Wisdom Ball battle pet, which it's not a fighting pet, it has no abilities, but it's Khadgar's head in a bubble, and it says kind of
Are you ready?
Magic 8-ball
I have a video. Here it is.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Outlook is certain. Certain death. No? Yes, actually. Defeat is assured. Reply hazy. Try again. You will likely survive. Well, most likely. Let me confer with my sources. No, let me confer with my sources. Yes, not likely. In this timeline. Outlook unclear. Gather 4,289 more Apexis crystals and ask again. Your sound card works perfectly.
Come inside, meet your friends at the door. We've got a feast like you've never seen before. Take your stuff to our musical beat. Play life-size chess, but don't you dare cheat. Most of all, throw your worries away. Dive right in, you'll never be the same. This is a place of funky magical phenomena. Anything goes for one night in Kansas.
Oh my god! I don't think it's over yet. I think there's more.
Yeah, this part doesn't have sound, but it just we went through all of his emotes.
So the sounds, by the way, guys, were not matched up with the animations. They wouldn't
No.
look like that when you actually have them. I can't with his angry faces.
I know.
It's so good.
The Karazhan music is not with the pet in game, but we synced it up to specifically the dance emote he has.
That's perfect.
So,
Oh my
yeah,
god,
this
he's
is the best video
horrified.
we've made.
He's horrified. The humanity.
The
Just
Apexis
kidding.
crystalline
Everything's
is the
fine.
favorite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god. This is the single greatest addition to World of Warcraft.
Yes.
I have no complaints about this.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing.
It's so good. It's so ridiculous. Like, why does it exist?
I know.
But, like, I'm
It's-
happy it exists, but also,
Yeah.
why does it exist?
I know. It's... Yeah.
So, on
It's-
that
it's
note, I'm
pretty
going to flip it
special.
over to Perk to talk a little bit
Okay.
about Wowhead updates.
Yeah, sure. So, with launch coming, we've been addressing a lot of bugs and expanding features that have been really popular on the site. And, in this past week, World Quest and flying were a big deal, so we've been trying to update our tools for that. So, the first thing is that we now have a World Quest tracking page. This is like Today in Draenor, but really expanded, and it tracks where all of your quests are, North America and Europe. It shows them all on the map. You can filter by if it's a dungeon quest, PvP, professions. You can click on the quest to see like where they are. We also track all the rewards because the rewards can change every time the quest is up. So we show what the rewards are. We've got maps of each zone. Then we've got a written summary of what they all are, as well as how much time is left on the emissary quests. And we're in the process right now of adding even more things like the Dalaran Battle Pet Trainer, the Archaeology quest, the interesting item that Zurio sells. So check back next week. It's really popular. We keep adding stuff to it. And we've also added a sidebar area to the front page. Today in Draenor is gone, and Today in the Broken Isles is now up, and that just shows what quests are related to the emissary ones, as well as world events. So that's the big thing we've been working on, but we also have Broken Pathfinder for Legion, which it relies on Blizzard's character tracking to be up and running, and it's been pretty shaky this past week, which is too bad, but whenever Blizzard's character profiles API work again, you can just input your character into wowhead.com flying, and you can see a breakdown of what you have left to get the first part of the Pathfinder achievement done, really similar to what we did for Draenor. And then we also have some guides we've been working on, in addition to all the launch guides, like classes and how to spec your artifact and reputation guides and profession quests. We've been focusing on some more max level things. We have most of our Emerald nightmare guides done, including 6 out of the 7 boss guides and the rewards guide, consumable guide on the way soon. We have dungeon guides all up, and they really delve into the details. So if maybe you're doing normal and you don't really care about the details right now, but you really want to read them to get a sense if you start doing Mythic Plus, which is coming out on the 20th.
Yay!
And yeah, And finally, we just put up a new what to do at level 110 guide because a lot of people have been asking for this because, some stuff is different now than it was in the past. Like we mentioned before, you can't just grind out reputation in a day, or, missions are very different in Legion than they were in Draenor. So we've sort of broken down, like, stuff you want to do for your artifacts. Like, for example, you want to do your artifact knowledge work orders. And because they do provide substantial gains, if you're like 2 hours away from getting that done, if you're 2 hours away from getting an upgrade, maybe hold off on turning in the Suramar quest that gives a ton of artifact power, because you could get like 25% more artifact power if you just waited 2 weeks. So we cover, artifacts, gearing up, Suramar, world quests, and then just reminders if you want to do things with professions or getting ready for raids or doing your PvP world quest to get honor talents before the season starts on the 20th. So yeah, that's about it for site updates. As usual, traffic is always, really spikes when an expansion comes out, and we get lots of feedback on features people would like, or bugs people want to address. And, we have a lot of data, we have a lot of analytics. Like, if your feature or bug is not being addressed, it doesn't mean we don't like it. It means that there's something more urgent going on behind the scenes, or something we need to address first, or something we feel will reach a wider range of users and make them happy. So, be patient. People have been pretty happy this expansion launch, but just, something to keep in mind, that we are, reading all of the feedback, and people are working on the weekends and working late, and, really putting a lot of love and attention into the site.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's 100% true. As someone who keeps trying to get a hold of Perk, I promise you, she's inaccessible currently. Yeah. The other day, I even thought I had it at a good time, too. It was like, I can't remember what time it was, but I definitely thought you were going to be awake. And I left you like a novel for when you got back. And you're just like, that's good. Yep. I'm really busy. I've slept 2 hours in the last week. So yeah, everybody at Wowhead is working really hard. Everybody in general in the WoW community who does any sort of content right now is probably scrambling, because it seems like everything's happening all at once. You've got your, obviously everything going on with Legion, but then there's all these cons going on as well. And then on top of it, at all the cons, I was going to say, at all the cons, you got Q&As and interviews and more stuff. So it's just, this is a really difficult time for everyone to keep up on everything they're trying to do. So everybody who's been patient and supportive, it's very, very, very much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and do our codes. Did you want to see if we have any questions to answer once we are done?
Yeah, Sass has been giving them to me, so I'm going through them now.
Grab 3 or 4 of them, and just so that you guys, in case you forgot, we currently have specials with both Jinx and the Blizzard Gear Shop during the month of September. If you use code Wowhead Legion, you'll get 10% off of Warcraft products from Jinx, as well as free shipping worldwide. That is a great deal, and there's lots of very cool new products, including that Illidan hoodie that you see right there with the embroidered warglaves on the pockets. There's another new zip-up hoodie that has like big crossed warglaves on the back. Lots of new Legion themed t-shirts. There's the really cool Artifact Warcraft logo t-shirt that just came out, and that's a really great discount code, particularly if you're outside of the US. So that's 10% off and free worldwide shipping with code Wowhead Legion during the whole month of September. Then through the Blizzard Gear Shop, Wowhead has a promotional code that's WH Plush 15, and you'll get 15% off any plushies in the Blizzard Gear Shop, and this does include things like Stitches, which comes with the in-game skin for Heroes of the Storm, or the little pets that come with the in-game version of the pets, as well as your big plushies like Winston, your hat like the Abathur symbiote hat, the Hearthstone pillow, the slippers, the Zergling slippers, and hopefully Ganymede will be out before September 30th, and we can get him as well. But there's always our little buddy Pepe. If you don't have one yet, 10 out of 10 would recommend Pepe. There's the new Nightmare plush. There's some Murlocs. There are lots of stuff. So if you've ever been interested in getting a plush from the Blizzard Gear Shop, now's a great time. Code WHPlush15 to get 15% off any plushies in the Blizzard Gear Shop. I did the thing, Perk.
Yep, you did the thing. How many questions do we want? I
don't know. It's getting kind of late. I would say at least 3, no more than 5.
Okay. I'll just knock a few of them, or like just sort of asking basic site questions. So I'll just like knock them out of the way first, and then there's some we can discuss a bit more. Why can't the profiler on Wowhead load my character data? Am I doing something wrong? This is what we just talked about, how Battle.net has their character tracking not working. We have a sticky on our feedback forums. Unfortunately, Battle.net doesn't tell us when things will be fixed, and we scramble around with like 6 parts of the site not exactly working as we'd like them to. So, yeah, it's totally not on our end. It's just unfortunate that as a result of whatever Blizzard's doing to fix their stuff, it affects our tools. And this also affects flying, some parts of the dressing room, the planner, and several other features across the site. The other 2 quick questions are, is flying possible if you complete the achievements in 7.1? No, the name of the achievement is Broken Isles Pathfinder Part 1. It grants increased movement speed, but because it's Part 1, more parts will be coming later in the expansion. And is Trial of Valor in the cinematic a PvP zone that they're adding in 7.1? No, Trial of Valor is the name of the raid that is about Stormheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on to the more interesting questions. What have been your favorite zones to do quests in?
What's yours?
Okay, so the very first zone I did was Azuna, then Val'sharah, then High Mountain, then Stormheim.
Oh, so you did it in order. That's Blizzard's order. Did you hear that?
No,
so
I did
at
not
the panel in PAX, they said scaling wasn't added until like really, really late. And when they designed all of those zones, the intended order was clockwise, starting with
That's
Azuna.
really interesting because when they were open on the alpha, I want to say it was the total reverse. So like I did Stormheim and then I did High Mountain and then that's actually really funny. But
yeah,
so
but that
I
was apparently super late added.
Right.
So you started in Azuna.
Yeah, and so Azuna is my favorite zone because it's all about night elves, but it's not, it's like the night elves that were outsiders. It's like the, the magic users or the tragic history of the prince and the court, and they're very, snarky, and they're all kind of misfits, and the blue dragons are, really funny and mystical, and then you have the withered, and the mana addicts, and Runis is just awesome with his personality, and yeah, of course, Azuna also has like gorgeous views and unicorns, and Charlie the unicorn is there, and it's just a really pretty, mysterious kind of tragic zone that plays very well into Suramar. It also has a strong demon hunter presence. The very first thing you do is you have that Illidari camp.
Yep.
So, my character felt really at home between the spooky scenery and how it related to, a sort of forgotten or not as dominant part of night elf culture.
Yeah.
And then I went to Val'sharah, which was very like traditional night elves. And if you're playing as a demon hunter, like those night elves are mean to you.
Really?
They're like, oh, like you look more demonic than elf, or like, I hope I can trust you at the Temple of Elune. Like, they're really mean. It's like, hey guys, like, bad stuff is happening at the Temple of Elune. Like, why are you snarking at me?
Yeah.
So, I felt that Val'sharah was, it was more fun questing in Azuna, but I felt that Val'sharah was very well designed in making me feel that I was not totally part of that night elf society.
Yeah. So my favorite zone so far has been Val'sharah. I used to main a druid for like a long time, so I felt like it's a very druidy area. I really like the landscape. I also like the little old-timey town that's got
Dragonsbrook?
Yeah, I like that little area, and I definitely think Val'sharah is my favorite so far, but I've really enjoyed questing everywhere, even in the areas that I got frustrated because of mountains and caves and stairs up the side, and not talking about any one zone in particular, High Mountain, but
yeah, we've noticed a lot of, like, whenever I see what pages are doing well, like if there's a quest or an NPC, I'm like, oh, that's gotta be a cave or underwater or a mix. It's like, oh, yeah.
Well, some of them are so ridiculous because it'll show up on the map and you'll go there and you have to go like all the way around the mountain, up a freaking hill, in a cave, down the stairs, into a grotto, underwater, swim 4 feet, do the Macarena, and then the boss. It's so silly. But I don't mind. I'm not mad about it. I just am a naturally, like, when it comes to those areas where the elevation changes, that's when I get lost. So.
It's really funny because Blizzard put that UI improvements in to make it more apparent what level something was at. But they didn't really seem to fix the problem of anything that sort of misled people into thinking, oh, this is close by, or like, I'm on the right level. But it's like, no, you still have to like make this gigantic U to get to the final place.
It's like sometimes it's just really hard to find cave entrances and stuff. So, and granted, a lot of times that's from skimming the quest and not reading the quest, but guilty.
Like, I want to say, what's it, a Falling Star, one of the Khadgar quests? Like, that's one of the top pages on the site. And Khadgar at one point is like, he's like, I believe this must be in a cave. But because the cave is still really hard to find, like, everyone is like, oh my god.
Well, and sometimes there's areas where there's, like, 3 freaking caves, and then sometimes caves have multiple entrances, and, like...
Or they're underwater. Like, this, one quest that's, like, undersea survey, it's like, bam, that's going to be a popular one.
It's a lot. So, but I'm not mad about it. that doesn't upset me, because realistically, if you were going around and questing and adventuring, things would be in caves, things would be on mountains, they're not just going to be on flat ground. So, yes, it's like a frustrating thing, but like if you had a game without challenges or minor frustrations,
you don't just
like
want to quest on some flat, boring terrain. That
just
would
like
not be fun.
just questing in Borean tundra forever, forever. So yeah, that would be my favorite zone is Val'sharah. I also really liked the little shamany looking trailer park.
Oh, wait, where was that again? Was that in Val'sharah?
In Val'sharah, there's an area where the bear guys are,
Oh, yeah, the Timbermaw
the Timbermaw guys, and they all live in, like, little fallen tree
little wooden
log trailers. It's so cute. I'm not kidding when I say I love them. I would live there. It's so adorable.
Yeah, I should mention that Val'sharah is also really cool because of Blackrock Hold, which is, like, it's like the stronghold with War of the Ancients, and again, more Night Elf ghosts, and just sort of harkening back to a period of time where, the Night Elves, like, there was more controversial things going on with them, and, they sort of blew the world up with their magic, so I just like that period of history with them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've had a lot of fun questing so far in general. Like, there's not really... I'm just happy to be back in Dalaran, too. Like, I'm always happy when I have to go to Dalaran to do something. It makes me happy. I'm not at the point in my life yet where I'm spending a lot of time standing around doing much of anything. It's like I log in, I've got 15 things to do, so... But yeah, I really like it. And yeah, I saw that someone in chat said, have you seen the Druid Order Hall? Yeah, I almost played a Druid over the Druid Order Hall. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're so cute. I want to do a post later. I just put the post up now on, like, the stuff you want to do at 110, but I think it would be fun to follow it up with, like, oh, here's, little cute things we noticed along the way, or just stuff that's pretty that you should go see so you don't forget about it.
I am also trying really hard. I'm deciding what to do about my artifact situation, because while they did make it easier to quest as Resto, it's still not good. And then if you go and you use your other spec, your artifact has no power whatsoever. And, like, I haven't even gotten one of the runes. Like, I have one, and it's bad. And then I haven't even unlocked another one because I don't want to change my loot specialization, because that'll be my luck that something awesome will drop. And then I'll have it for my
I think with World Quest, the relic could be for any... Okay, right. But soon. But if you start doing your artifact knowledge, stuff should get easier, and you should be, like... The rank 13 trait is something like 1,000 power, and the rank 14 trait, which is after the gold trait, is 6840.
That's where I'm at right now, is, like, deciding if I should just, like, level up my off-spec weapon, because my next one is, like you said, 6840, and it doesn't
I think that would make sense, especially if you can get that artifact knowledge work order done, because Yeah, like, I feel like I put this in the guide, but if your artifact knowledge work order is, going to finish in an hour, like... Let it finish, then, go do some quests, because then the items from those quests will give you more artifact power.
Yeah. It's just been, I have definitely felt very weak, because I chose, I play a healer, and I didn't have a lot of time to play because I was in Washington for PAX, so I kind of fell behind everybody, and I'm on these weird quest chains that people have either finished or they're partway through but not at the same part as me, so I'm playing by myself a lot, and, like, I die a lot. Like, as a healer, I die often. Like, I can do 2 guys, and I can do 3 guys if I have cooldowns, but if I don't have cooldowns... I'm definitely dead if I pull 3 guys.
You might want to look at the rep gear as well. Like when you go to Suramar and you hit friendly, you get like level 800 boots.
My gear's okay. It's not a gear issue. It's I have 0 artifact power, as I have the stock amount, whatever that is, 350 or whatever. So I have like 1 artifact power, and then I got my life trait, but I didn't get my storm trait, or I got my storm but not my frost. I don't remember. I only have 1 for elemental. I don't even have another one to put in there. So I'm just I
would probably just like gearing up off spec to be fun, especially if you want to do world quests. Like they're more fun to do as DPS.
I want to do world quest, and I feel I really, and this is, if I had one complaint about Legion, I really wish the artifact weapon respect with you.
That actually ties into another question people had. It was, are the Suramar dungeons and our artifact knowledge account wide?
No.
So, sort of going along, like artifact knowledge is not account wide, but it is meant to help you gear up your off specs, which is like halfway there, but not all the way there with what you were saying.
Well, I would expect things to be different on a different character. It's just it's particularly rough. Like tanks are fine. Like my Nick plays the tank, and he just goes through everything and kills 8 guys at a time. And I mean, I really have to be extremely aware of my surroundings, because if I take 2 steps back and pull an extra guy, that's it. That is my life. I'm dead now. Because you can only, when you try to heal yourself, you run out of mana before you're anywhere near full health. And they also kind of put you in this weird position where you have to choose. Like, it feels like your missions are really important, like your order hall missions. So I don't like having to choose between like having a guardian guy, which as a healer is a huge deal, or not doing a mission. Like it's
right. Well, I mean, so some of the missions are tied to the class hall campaign for the 3rd relic.
Yeah.
So like I would prioritize the missions.
Yeah, I do, but it's just rough in the meantime, while I have my guys out on missions, like, because right now I have 4 dudes. All 4 of my dudes are out on missions. My troops.
Have you gotten troops yet? Okay.
Yeah, but they can't come with you, and like those specific.
I meant like you could assign the troops to the mission and then.
Yeah, I have some in there, but like I needed for these missions, just this anecdotal situation. I needed all 4 of my guys out on a mission, out on 2 missions actually, and so I don't have a guardian, but then I'm like super weak because I main spec resto, I off spec elemental, my off spec has a terrible artifact, and
I would honestly say like maybe hold off on the missions, take the bodyguard dude out, hit friendly, and then like just target all the artifact power world quest that you see.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. I had one of my guildies just kind of follow me around yesterday and give me a hand, and I got to see like firsthand how weak my elemental spec really was, because he was doing like quite literally like double the damage I was, but he has a ton of artifact power. Like he has a ton of artifact
those
power.
Gold traits are they're pretty cool.
They make a big difference.
Like one trait, you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter if you spec differently, but it's like, oh, you have to put the traits into something. Like, put them into anything, and you will feel more powerful.
Yeah, I'm just super weak right now, so that's one thing that I wish. And someone said that's kind of a game scale issue, and like, it's just one of those things where it's just this specific situation. Like, if you're playing DPS or a tank, you're fine, but if you're off spec playing DPS, or if you're trying to do it as your healing spec, it's still really rough.
Yeah, I also feel like you were in a difficult situation of having to travel last week and then this upcoming week. Mm-hmm. So you sort of
group up.
Right, like you're sort of caught in this awkward phase where your time is really limited, and it's not like, oh, I'm doing elemental as I'm doing dungeons with people, so I'm picking up artifact drops. So yeah, I mean, it is, it feels like you're sort of in this weird situation that not a ton of people are, but it's obviously not, you're like, oh, well, not a lot of people are, therefore, I'm not going to die as much because no one else is affected.
Yeah, no, and it's certainly better than it would have been. I'm like I said, if I had one complaint, that would be my complaint, but I'm still playing and I'm still having fun.
Yeah, you're still getting through all the questing zones for the most part.
Yeah, it's not like it's unplayable or anything, it's just, it's rough. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get more
like people
power.
have said that Suramar, like, it can get ugly, like, if you pull too many mobs. So maybe it's a good thing that you're, like, being really thorough about all the quests and, like, picking up. Like,
I had a lot. Stormheim was the worst zone. It got a lot worse at 110 too. I didn't feel this week until I hit max level, and then it was like I felt more powerful at 109 than I did at 110.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know if that has to do with the way it scales, because it does it. I mean, it just scales to 110, right? It doesn't scale to your gear.
Right. They mentioned that in the Q&A today. One sec. People people asked about this, and they said, do world quests scale with item level, or do they become easier as you gear up? And it was, at max level, the world isn't scaling with your gear. You're meant to feel good that as you get better gear, you can crush some rares and elites that you originally struggled with. So
I struggle with everything currently. There's this one area in Stormheim that there's like a side quest with Murlocs, and it's the one where there's like the Murlocs, the next generation.
Yeah. Yep.
I died like 11 times during that quest. It was awful. It was like every time I got back to my body, I would res and immediately pull like 6 Murlocs. There was just nowhere I could res that was safe. It was very frustrating. But we're done with it now. We finished the quest. We persevered. We had an expensive repair bill. All right. Do we have any more questions, or are we good? Because we got really rambly.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Well, that concludes today's show. There will not be a show this Friday because I will be, well, a week from today, because I will be in California for GameStop Expo with St. Jude. And then I get back and I don't travel again until BlizzCon. So sorry about all this, guys. But no show next week. If we're going to do anything scheduling-wise that changes anything, we will let you know on Twitter and whatnot so that you're in the loop about what's going on. Thank you to our new subscribers today and our subscribers from previously. We really appreciate it. People who follow us on Twitch and come and watch us live. That is really awesome that you're taking time out of your day to hang out with us on the internet. Thank you so much to everybody who subscribes to us on YouTube and watches our videos and all of that jazz. And most of all, thank you to everybody who subscribes to Wowhead Premium, which is a monthly subscription thingamabob that essentially removes all of the ads from Wowhead. It allows you to customize your Today in Legion. You can track quests. You get to talk in a special color in the comments. Lots of other benefits, but most of all, it directly supports Wowhead and its content creators, so we appreciate that so much. We will be back soon. TM.
Yep.
TM. As of right now, it's tentatively 2 weeks from today, which would be the, oh god, dates are hard, be the 23rd, which feels like unreal to even be talking about the 23rd as a thing that could be happening.
It will be after Emerald Nighthold Mare. Oh, why do they all like sound the same?
They do. I was having a
nightmare. The Nightmare, the PvP season, and the Mythic Plus.
There's like Trial of Valor, Halls of Valor.
Yep.
So many Valors,
Another
but
thing is Death Knights and Demon Hunters, the abbreviations just get all mixed up.
It gets all crazy in here. It gets crazy in here. But tentatively, we will be back on the 23rd. There is a possibility that we'll be back on the 21st, which would be Wednesday instead. But we will keep you in the loop about what we decide to do in that situation. If you ever want to catch us live, it's twitch.tv/wowhead. If you follow us, you'll get email notifications when we go live, which is typically no more than once a week, so it won't be spamming you up. I think we're going to go, though. Have a great week and a great weekend. If you're going to GameStop Expo, please come say hi to me. And I think that's it. Have a great day, guys. We will talk to you soon. Bye. Happy questing. Where's the button? There it is. Wrong one. Darn it. Okay, there we are.
There we go.